What's going on? Hope you guys are good. So, The Mandalorian Season 3 Episode 7. Now this season finally picks up. We get some important plot details, the story progresses, and most importantly, we get the villain of the show. Moff Gideon is back, finally. It's about time. He should have showed up in episode 4 or 5. In fact, this whole episode should have came in episode 4 or 5. We should not have waited till episode 7 to get what we got. But either way, we are here now. We've got this important episode, and I, like many of you I'm assuming, really enjoyed it. So, there's many parts of this episode that I've heard already. I heard leaks about a month ago that came true, such as Grogu controlling IG-11 like a mech, and the whole ending scene where the guards from the sequels show up, unfortunately. Even though they were cool, anything that ties a show I like into the sequels, I'm just not gonna like it, no matter how cool the guards looked. I don't want anything to do with the sequels, and I don't want any show that I like have something to do with the sequels. But it is what it is, we all knew it was gonna happen. I think I was just kinda in disbelief, up until the point where I actually had to see it on screen. But never mind about that for now, it was only a little scene, and it was only a little hint, so I can put it to the side for now. But yeah, this episode was awesome. It felt like pure Star Wars. There was never a moment where I actually was worried about what Disney Star Wars might do in every scene, because ever since the sequels and the bad shows that we've had, I'm never fully immersed into the world. I'm always watching and looking out for things that stand out, that shouldn't be there or shouldn't happen. Basically, I'm just looking out for mistakes that Disney make or just bad decisions. But in this episode, there was none of that. I just enjoyed it thoroughly throughout the whole thing. There was a lot of action, it was tense. You were actually worried about the characters. Well, kind of. There was tension, but we didn't really think they were gonna die. It's really rare that Disney Star Wars kills off a character, at least one that we care about anyway. But yeah, great acting, tension, storytelling, the dialogue was great. Just everything I like from the best Disney Star Wars that we've got. We got the scene with Grogu and Din Djarin when he goes to Grief Karga and he gives him IG-11, who is now IG-12. But he shows Din and Grogu that he's fixed IG-11, but he's tweaked him a little bit, and he's actually made him a controllable mech droid for Grogu, which is kind of cool, and I heard this part already, and I was kind of skeptical about it, but that whole scene I really enjoyed. It was so funny. Grogu kept tapping the yes button and the no button. That's all he can really say in it, is yes and no, but he was just like a kid pressing a button over and over again if it makes a noise. You know, like if you give a kid a soundboard, you know, one of them toys, and they'll just keep pressing it just because it makes a random sound. Like it just has loads of random noises. You give it to a kid, they'll just tap it for hours. So it's so believable for Grogu to do that, and it was actually good comedy that made sense. Disney Star Wars hasn't been the best with comedy, but that is how you do it. It's not overdone, it's believable. Grogu is a kid, and that's what kids do. But anyways, further on in this episode, Bo-Katan reunites the Night Owls with the Children of the Watch, these two different factions of the Mandalorians, and they work together to basically try and bring back the old Mandalore, where everyone's together reunited, because like Bo-Katan says in this episode, they're the strongest when they are united and as one, which is true considering the reason Mandalorian actually got taken over so easily is because they were divided. And if I just said the Mandalorian, I meant Mandalore. But anyways, basically they decide to go to Mandalore, and skipping forward a little bit, I just want to talk about that monster that we all thought was going to be the Mythosaur. It ended up being just some random dinosaur, Godzilla looking creature that apparently just lives on Mandalore. There's probably more of them, which is insane that they treat that creature like it's just a bird outside. Like that's how normal it is to have a Godzilla sized creature just hanging around. Like imagine if there was a village built in that area. He just totally came up underneath it and just destroyed the whole thing, took out families and everything. Mandalore is not as safe of a place as I thought it was. But anyway, that was awesome. That looked so cool, great CGI. This episode had amazing CGI. But anyways, they go underground into the core of Mandalore, the core of their home, and they're all just talking to each other, reminiscing about what this place used to mean to them and what it used to be before it got wrecked. Until all of a sudden, these stormtroopers with jetpacks and wearing Beskar armor come out of nowhere and attack them. So at this point we're thinking Moff Gideon has somehow got here before them. Little did we know, but we'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, now they're just fighting, they're being overrun. So the guy that took over as leader for the Night Owls, I forgot his name, but I'm gonna put it on the screen right now. He escapes through an opening in the ceiling to go get reinforcements. So he's gone and done that. So that'll come in the next episode. So apart from that, the crew fights off all the enemies and they absolutely body all of them, like they're running forward. Din Djarin is like tackling them, knocking them over, which is so good that we finally get Din Djarin acting like the main character in this season, because he has definitely been sidelined for most of it. So after they get past all of them and keep pushing forward, they get locked in this room. The doors come down and Moff Gideon shows up with a badass looking helmet, which gives away a lot of things that we've been theorizing about as fans. I mean, it has horns on the helmet. I made a theory video about this already, and it seems like it's true that Moff Gideon was a part of, or just supports, the Mandalorians, and anything to do with Darth Maul I'm gonna be interested in. Darth Maul's one of the most badass, coolest characters in Star Wars, so even just hearing his name mentioned is just great. It's just great. But yeah, so Moff Gideon shows up, which means it was a trap all along. But how could he have known that they were coming there, and how could he plan for all of this? The Armorer. The Armorer is absolutely the spy. The episode is called The Spy for a reason, and the Armorer is what the title of the episode was made for. I made a theory video about her, and I'm just so happy that it's technically coming true. I mean, who else can it be? It has to be the Armorer, because like I said in the video, she has the horns in her helmet as well. Their helmets have a lot in common, and so do their ideologies, and so she works under Gideon, absolutely. And looking back at all of her actions up until this point in the season, it all adds up and it all makes sense. She's made some very inconsistent decisions, making her seem bipolar, but now it all makes sense. So yeah, Moff Gideon traps him with more of his guards, and yeah, he basically takes Din Djarin. And so after he gets taken, all of our allies have to fight off all of the stormtroopers. Bo-Katan cuts a hole in the door, and they all escape through it, but one, Paz Vizsla, does die. And I'm not gonna lie, it was a badass death. But this just makes me think that Jon Favreau wanted to get rid of his character for some reason, which makes me think of many different things that can tie into. Is he going to leave Star Wars? Is he done with The Mandalorian? Does he not want to really create any Star Wars products anymore? That is a worry considering he's the second most trusted Star Wars creator there is right now. So I hope that's not the case. But anyways, moving on. This whole scene is very crazy, considering we see TIE fighters and lots of Imperial stuff in the background. So basically, this whole time where they thought Mandalore was like poisonous and unlivable, Moff Gideon has actually had a safe base here where no one goes because everyone thinks it's a poisonous planet. So he's got the most safest of safe houses in this area, and so this is where he's been escaping to this whole time. Since he took over Mandalore, he's just been living there, he's got his own base there, and honestly I don't know why I didn't even think of that. It makes so much sense. But yeah, Moff Gideon has just been here this whole time, and this is great writing to me because it proves how smart he is, that he's one step ahead of everyone else, and the fact that he is nowhere near the level of intelligence as THRAWN, it just boosts everything in the story. It makes THRAWN look even more badass because he serves THRAWN, and if he wants to cross THRAWN, he's gonna die. Finally, we get good Star Wars. I heard this episode was going to be great, and it did not disappoint. But yeah, so back to the ending. Paz Vizsla dies to the guards from the sequels, which kind of a little bit took me out of it, just a little bit. I was still immersed into the story, but seeing sequel tie-ins are never going to be satisfying to me, and I just don't want to see anything tied into the sequels. Just like I said at the start, I just do not want to see that, and I'm sure most of you watching this don't want to see that either. But yeah, that's really it. So they escape. Din Djarin is kidnapped, and so this is going to make for a very entertaining finale. We're yet to see the Mythosaur, so I think Bo-Katan's going to go and get that and fight off the Empire with the Mythosaur. The Armorer is going to expose herself.
What?
The Armorer is going to expose herself and come out as the spy. And the story is underway again, but it's the last episode, so I can't really judge the whole season off these last 2 episodes, even if they're amazing. This season has been the worst season so far. No matter what happens in this next episode, I can enjoy the last 2 episodes while also understanding that the season is definitely the worst of the 3. So anyways, yeah, basically I enjoyed this episode a lot. It was great Star Wars. This is exactly what we wanted throughout the whole season, but we did not get it. Just comparing this episode to the last one, it's absolutely ridiculous. The last one was goofy. This episode shows how much of a filler that episode was, so it makes that one even worse. But I've made a rant video about that if you want to go check that out. The episode rubbed me the wrong way, for sure. But I wasn't alone on that opinion, so I knew that people would relate to that rant. So anyways, yeah, overall, enjoyed the episode. Cannot wait for the next one. What did you think about it? Put it down below. What was your opinion on the episode? Do you agree or disagree with my takes? Let me know, and I'll see you on the next one.
Hey, motherfucker.
Man, if you don't, get out my fucking way. No, boss. Oh, what the? Oh, fuck no. Yeah, I'll come back. I'll come back tomorrow. We actually get to go in. Oh, wow. This is where Luke got frozen. No, this is where Han got frozen. Oh, this is cool. What happens if I jump in there? Do I die? Guess we'll never know. Vader, get out. Let's fight. Let's fight, Vader. Come on. This is sad. But you're gonna go out like this. 1 bullet left, and you're dead. Come on, you're better than this. Come on, give me a real fight. Come on. Okay, B is to dodge. Okay, get used to it again. That's the block. Okay. Whoa. Whoa, buddy. Okay, he's better with this dude.